Beryl has quickly become a historic hurricane, one for the record books for sure. At this hour, the last advisory is still Category 5, winds at 165 miles per hour, currently 695 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. But look what it's done. Boy, you talk about Barbados, Britta, we were just talking about how far it is from Grenada, about 172 miles where the real impacts were felt. Nearly 200 miles away, look what it was doing in Barbados.
Yeah, it puts it in perspective of how sprawling these systems are. You know, of course, we've seen a lot of changes within Beryl. At the beginning of Beryl, it was a very tight, compact storm.
Yes.
But now we have a Cat 5. It naturally has grown. It is a monster storm. This is the historic stats on it, which unfortunately, these are all things that we wish that we weren't passing along. But it is impressive from a meteorology standpoint to see what this storm has pulled off. The strongest storm that we've seen in the month of June and July ever on record. I mean, we've been keeping records of tropical systems for a long, long time. So it really puts it in perspective of the strength of this system. And when you look at the list of the most powerful hurricanes that have impacted the Atlantic Basin, Craig, they're in September.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes October.
Yeah.
They're not in June and July.
No way.
So it's impressive, especially considering how far south Grenada is. That's a nation that really has rarely had a direct hit, let alone a direct hit from a Category 4 hurricane.
And let's not forget, it started the last of June. So,
yes.
I mean, yes, we're the second day of July, but this started the end of June.
This is the latest, by the way. If you went to bed early last night, you might not have heard that this is a Category 5 hurricane. Proof is in the pudding of warm water. If you got low wind shear, hot water, it will do nothing but grow into a monster. And the structure of this is so classic, which is what you would expect. The eye is very well defined, also very large. In fact, it's larger than some of the islands that it went through yesterday. Now, the next piece of line that we are concerned about is Jamaica. We're also concerned about Haiti and the Dominican Republic. There, we likely will feel tropical storm conditions, probably closer to the video that we saw coming out of Barbados.
Right.
But Jamaica, there's a potential that we could have a direct hit, and this is brand new, actually.
Yep.
As of the 5 a.m. advisory, hurricane watches are now up for the Cayman Islands.
Yeah. And when you talk about the cone itself, that would be the center of it, right? But Jamaica's right smack in there. It may go a little south of there, no matter what. You're still going to feel the winds, the rain, a lot of the wave energy within that. And those hurricane force, or the storm winds, rather, extend 40 miles from the center, so a good 80 miles. So you can see how much it's expanded. Yesterday it was like 30 to 35 on each side, starting to broaden out a little bit more.
Now let's talk about strength of this storm for Jamaica. There's a lot of questions to this. So the official forecast from the Hurricane Center has the winds somewhere between 110 to 120 miles per hour. That is a formidable hurricane that is expected to be coming very close, if not right on top of the island of Jamaica. There is wind shear that is existing over the central part of the Caribbean. That is going to cause Beryl to weaken. So there's no way we're going to have a Cat 5 impact Jamaica, but still looking at a Category 2, if not stronger, because there's questions of how much that wind shear is going to weaken a Category 5 hurricane. Strong, mature hurricanes, as Beryl is, they can weather wind shear a lot better than weaker systems. And
it's like
unfortunately,
a bigger flex out of it.
Yes, exactly. And from the beginning, our computer models have struggled with the intensity of Beryl. We let you know, full transparency from the beginning of the storm, that it was going to be one that it was hard to get down the forecast. Sometimes computer models do a great job. This particularly was one that started very small. And so the starting point of this was hard to really nail down. And that means that errors are going to be harder to iron out of the forecast. What happens once we get past Jamaica, which the time frame for that is going to be tomorrow? There is still a possibility that South Texas could be in this conversation. I'm not saying that to be a fear-mongerer or get anybody nervous, and there's no reason for someone in South Texas to be nervous, but to respect the forecast and pay attention to the conversation. When will we know? Thursday, Beryl is going to be crossing over the Yucatan. Where does that happen? If we have re-emergence a little bit farther to the north, of course, that's going to be a higher concern for folks that live in South Texas. If we have re-emergence really tucked down into the Bay of Campeche.
Back to Mexico.
Back to Mexico, where Mexico would be talking about Alberto, Chris, and then Beryl.
All three.
All impacting their country.